You tell me you're 22-year-old. No, the Elliot argument is devoid of revelation. Come on up, truth revealer. Back up your statement. Come up and back up your statement, truth revealer. I'm going to block your account. Here, I sent you an invite, truth revealer. Come on up. How can Elliot's argument indicate God when it was devoid of pointing to God's revelation? Last chance, Tyler. Excuse me, truth revealer. If you don't come up, you're getting blocked. Okay, bye. Are you? How old are you? And are you an atheist?
No, I'm not. I used to be one, but then I found how God is and how He is truly real.
Is that a Lone Ranger avatar? Yeah. Okay, yeah, because I'm using an ear pod. No, Buddhism doesn't disprove Christianity. Come on up. Come on up, kid. Defend your claim. Okay, got a block. Truth revealer. Bye, truth revealer. You're blocked. Yeah. Buddhism cannot be coherently defended. You don't know what you're talking about, skids. Okay, we're looking for some intelligent unbelievers. Do they exist in the audience? We have a gazillion atheists running amok on TikTok, and for some strange reason, none of them can find their way in here. Okay, I try to go on as many atheist streams as I can. Okay, unless it's a panel of a cauldron of stupidity. Yeah, Tyler's just a 16-year-old trapped in a 22-year-old body. Like Dirty Harry said in Magnum Force, the sequel to Dirty Harry, says a man just has to know his limitations. No, only people who behave like asses or attempt to antagonize or slander me get blocked. People do not get blocked because they disagree. I agree with you, and they should be afraid of anybody who understands the Christian worldview. You know, they go, there's no evidence for God. How does that entail there's no God? How do you even support that statement? So the world is an illusion of design? Right? Is the world an illusion of design? Skid, you better stop or I'm going to reblock your account. Welcome, Robert. How old are you, and are you an atheist?
35, and no. And I'm not a Christian either.
What are you?
I'm agnostic.
Okay. Neutrality toward God is impossible. You can claim neutrality, but neutrality is impossible because God is defined as the ground of all being, so that when you speak propositions, they will either be spoken and invoked with reference to the necessity of God or without. So therefore, there cannot be any neutral statement with regard to God's existence. Do you understand?
I didn't say I didn't believe in God. I just don't believe in the Christian God.
Okay, Robert, you're how old again? 35?
Yes. And
so agnostic is the position that claims to be neither affirming nor denying the existence of a creator. It is a claim to neutrality. Are we clear?
No, sir. Agnostic means I believe in a higher power. I just don't believe in your version of a higher power.
Robert, you do not know what you are talking about. You are completely uneducated on the matter. An agnostic is somebody who claims to suspend judgment, neither affirming nor denying God's existence. Are we clear? That is what the standard definition of atheism is.
No, sir, you're wrong, and I don't appreciate you calling me a liar.
No, sir. Goodbye. Can't we have any intelligent opponents up here?
That one was pretty bad.
Yeah, that guy was, yeah. You know what's sad is that when they tell you they're in their 30s or 40s and they're that low information.
Yeah, to not even know the definition of the term you used to describe yourself is embarrassing.
Yeah, saying I don't know that there is or isn't a God is not limited to knowledge, but includes that you neither believe either way. Even Thomas Huxley, who invented the term, said an agnostic is a man who will claim neither to know nor to believe without sufficient rational or evidentiary grounds. Okay? So once somebody makes it very clear to me that not only are they stupid, but they're committed to their stupidity, I'm just not going to waste my time. By the way, Ozzy, can you get closer to your microphone?
I'm actually using my Bluetooth in my car. I'm going to stay muted.
Okay. Yeah, Tyler, you're not coming up again. Okay. I don't continue to talk with uninformed, uneducated, argumentative 16-year-olds trapped in 22-year-old bodies. So no go, Tyler. Sorry. So maybe when you're a 19 or 20-year-old trapped in a 29-year-old body, I'll talk with you, Tyler. But you failed miserably. So, are there not any intelligent unbelievers who can challenge the existence of God? Where are they? Tyler, you failed miserably twice, okay? You're not self-aware as to your own lack of critical thinking skills, okay? No, Tyler, you were changing subjects, okay? I'll give you one more chance, but this is ingrained in you. You're not going to change your behavior. You're going to pull the same crap again. So are we clear that your initial salvo that the world is not evidentiary for God is that because it hasn't been falsified? You attempt to avoid the accurate characterization of your position as being an appeal to ignorance fallacy by adding an addendum, but that addendum was not a part of your initial statement. Okay? So are we clear that your opening line of reasoning, whether you realize it or not, was an invocation of an appeal to ignorance fallacy? Are you willing to admit your mistake?
I don't believe I was given.
Goodbye. You see, my prediction was correct. You see that, Ozzy? See? Won't admit his mistake. Okay? I told that I was going to give him another chance, and like a 16-year-old trapped in a 22-year-old body, he just triples down as stupid is as stupid does. Welcome, Stargate. What would you like to say?
Just don't believe in God.
Okay, is that rational or irrational?
To me, rational, but I'm pretty sure you're going to say all sorts of reasons why it's irrational.
Good. So when you say you don't believe in God, then you are believing that you are in a God-independent world. What's the rational basis for that?
Do I sound like a philosopher to you?
Do I sound like a philosopher to you?
You sound like somebody who's talking a lot of stuff that people don't understand. How about we just start normally?
Okay, so look, do you notice how I complain all the time of people who are bottom of the barrel and don't bring to critical thinking skills to the table here to defend atheism? Well, you're the kind of person I'm talking about right now.
You're the kind of person
do you believe you are in a God-independent world?
I don't believe in God. It can be that
Goodbye.
simple.
Another 12-year-old trapped in a 20-year-old body. Okay, we're done. People cannot answer straightforward questions. I just don't believe. I just don't believe. As though that's all that mattered. When you say you don't believe in God, you're believing in a God-independent world, that you are an autonomous operator, that you are an autonomous thinker, that you don't need God as ultimate context, right? These people absolutely refuse to come to grips with what their position really is, because they want to camouflage their position as a mere state of incredulity. Are you following me, Ozzy? This is what the paper Atheological Apologetics drives home. It's a scholarly paper talking about the mentality and the tactics and strategy of skeptics and unbelievers, that they're trying to represent themselves as just one having a mental state where they're unconvinced. But that is not their position, right? Their position is vastly more than just being unconvinced, that they're operating in the world, that they're autonomous thinkers and players, right? When you don't believe in God. So how is it a viable concept in a world of chance, in a world independent from God? How is your ability to be an autonomous thinker defensible or viable? How? Right? I wish we would stop having these bottom of the barrel, extremely low information Kamala Harris supporters, and we had some intelligent opposition. Are there not any intelligent unbelievers? Where are they on TikTok? Where are the intelligent unbelievers? I'm waiting for some intelligent opposition, instead of people coming in here with their teenage minds and teenage antics. I don't tolerate people like that because they waste my time. I have to sit there and do a remedial education in basic critical thinking skills. So it's wasting my time. What an indictment on TikTok that there is no intelligent opposition. How embarrassing to every one of the skeptical community that will not come up here and try to debate against the Christian worldview and the existence of God. What an indictment. Still waiting. Come on up. Why am I not surprised that a Canadian thinks that probably one of the dumbest people ever to have a shot at the presidency should have been the president? That's why we should never, have Canada join our country with thinking like that. I could criticize you for having the likes of Justin Trudeau, but then I'd have to explain Barack Hussein Obama. What a disaster it would have been for this country. It would have been far worse than the half senile Joe Biden. Yeah, well, it has nothing to do with the fact that you're not aware of how profoundly stupid Kamala Harris is. Do you realize that she couldn't even do proper interviews? That CBS News had to edit her interview in order to cover up her incompetence. And by the way, don't believe me, look it up. You can see. In fact, they're now being investigated by the Election Commission for interfering with the election by so significantly altering and editing the interview as to present her as having some level of competence, which she did not have. Yeah, she had to pay all of these Hollywood types to support her. Anyway, but that's off topic. Pretty shocking that anyone would be so dumb to think that that would have been a good thing for Kamala Harris to be the president. I mean, how out of touch with reality can you be? So I'm waiting for some intelligent unbelievers. Where are you? No, that's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind. It's off topic for a short period of time because we're just waiting for some intelligent opposition. Because those atheists who are intelligent, they realize, oh, I better not go up because my atheism is going to be annihilated. This is why when I go onto other atheist streams, and I've gone on some of the more regular and well-known atheist streams, how when I go on their streams, they're immediately abusive. Immediately. They don't want to have an adult interaction. So God's existence is abundantly and overwhelmingly clear. The world exemplifies design, and the claim that the world is an illusion of design is simply a reaction to the world exemplifying design, attempting to explain away the overwhelming appearance of design. Welcome, Aardvark. How old are you, and are you an atheist?
65, agnostic.
Yeah, you don't sound 65.
Well, I can't help you with that.
No, it's okay. I believe you. Okay, so agnosticism is a claim to neutrality. However, there is no neutrality with God because either you will speak propositions with reference to the necessity of God or without. And if you do it without, that's an indirect denial of God.
That is not, I don't follow that logic. Why do you believe that?
So do you reject the notion that certain propositions can indirectly deny another proposition?
Theoretically, I can imagine that could be the case.
Okay, no, not theoretically. Do you know what modus ponens is?
Yes.
Okay, if P, then Q, P therefore Q. Can a proposition entail another proposition?
Yes.
Good. Can a proposition entail the negation of another proposition?
Yes.
Would that be an indirect negation?
If that's the way you're defining it, then sure.
No, I'm not defining it that way.
That's the way it is defined in this conversation.
Can certain propositions indirectly deny other propositions?
Yes.
Okay. Can a proposition, the affirmation of such, indirectly deny another proposition? Well, how about this? Is the invocation of naturalism an indirect denial of God?
That takes it to
It's a yes or a no. Is the invocation of naturalism an indirect denial of God?
I don't follow the logic that takes me to that.
Okay, you're not answering the question. If you continue to dodge, I remove people for dodging. Is naturalism an indirect denial of God?
I don't know because I don't follow that logic.
Well, then that's pretty sad for a man of your age. If I say the natural world is all that there is, can God logically coexist in a world where only purely material and natural things exist?
If you said that God doesn't exist, then yes.
No, you're not answering the question. Can God logically coexist in a world where only material and natural things exist?
No, he cannot.
Okay, so is the invocation of naturalism an indirect denial of God?
Yes.
Okay, so propositions can indirectly deny God. So when we invoke propositions, they will either be invoked with respect to the necessity and context of God or without. That's the law of excluded middle. Okay, you understand there's not a third option?
Yes.
Okay, when you speak propositions as true and intelligible, do you invoke propositions without referencing the necessity of God?
What proposition do you think I'm
about to kick you. Dodge one more time and you're gone. When you invoke any proposition, do you invoke such a proposition with reference to the necessity of God? Do you do that?
I do not.
Okay, so that's an indirect denial of God.
Let me think. The proposition.
Make you feel
let me make sure that I understand what you're saying, please, if I may. I'm just trying to understand how you've taken me to this point. If I say, obviously, P, if P, then Q, whatever the syllogism you were talking about.
I didn't give a syllogism.
The P and Q statement that the mechanism you described. Describe it again for me, please. Just say those terms.
P necessarily entails Q. If P is real, then Q is real. If then somebody invokes P, it indirectly, rather than directly or formally, is affirming Q. So I could formally and directly affirm P by saying P is true. Excuse me, Q is true. Or I could invoke P, which would be an indirect affirmation of Q.
Right.
Okay?
And what if I believe with a 99% probability that P is true, but not 100% probability?
The issue of certainty and probability has nothing to do at this juncture what we're talking about. You are invoking propositions by choice without referencing either the necessity or the contextualization of God.
Why do you believe I'm doing that?
Because you don't want to acknowledge the obvious that the world exemplifies overwhelming design and ultimate intentionality. So you would rather hide behind neutrality, which is just a verbal camouflage for God denialism. So are we clear that you are choosing to invoke propositions without referencing the necessity of God, which
I'm not invoking those propositions. I'm not certain about them.
I'm not done. I don't give a shit about your level of certitude. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I believe it does.
No, it doesn't.
I believe if we go back to P and Q.
Sir, listen to me.
Let me say this, please.
No, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. So
I actually think I do. So let's try to explore that.
Keep on fucking arguing with me, bickering like a little child rather than
I'm not bickering.
65-year-old man.
A lower tone
Okay,
voice.
goodbye.
You're sounding like a 12-year-old.
Here we have, ladies and gentlemen, another bickering little 16-year-old who didn't take his Ritalin, trapped in a 65-year-old body. And then people wonder why I get upset. They just sit there. Yeah, you are laughing, Isaiah. Another fool, okay? And shame on him for being a 60-year-old trapped in a 65-year-old body. Right? You see, they get caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and they're like, and they think that they can verbally tap dance their way out of it. Well, you can't tap dance when you're not wearing tap shoes. Aardvark, that's an absolute lie. First of all, you didn't prevent, even in the slightest, any defeater. Now, you need to come up right now and apologize for that lie. If you don't, I'm going to block your account. Come on up. Did you provide a clear, irrefutable defeater for what I said?
Yes.
Okay. What was your clear defeater? And you better be succinct.
The proposition was, I have a 99%.
No, I told you it is irrelevant. Certitude.
I know you said it was irrelevant.
Okay,
but
bye.
You're incorrect
Guess what?
in that.
Well,
you're incorrect in that.
Okay. What? Wow. 65 years old of low information. didn't even offer an actual defeater there. Okay. See, this is the problem with these people. No, you're not coming up again. Totally stupid. Unbelievably stupid. See, that's one thing I won't tolerate. I will tolerate people debating and disagreeing with me. But when you're this level of stupid, I'm sorry. I can't have you on stage any further, Aardvark. I mean, it's that bad. Your reasoning was as bad, if not worse, than teenagers. Welcome, Tom. How old are you, and are you an atheist?
48, and yes, I am an atheist.
Okay, can you tell me why there's no God?
No God concept has ever convinced me to be true, nor proven to have any evidence, therefore.
Okay, does it logically and necessarily follow because your mental state is one that is characterized by being unconvinced, therefore there's no creator?
Sorry, that therefore there's no creator, you said?
Yeah, okay, so you're having trouble listening?
I just didn't hear you, sir.
I'll go over again from you. Your position, what's the proposition that you're supposed to be defending?
I don't have a proposition. You're the one.
Are you this stupid?
I'm saying I do not believe in any gods.
Are you listening to me? Okay, now, what did I ask you to give an account for?
My atheism?
No, I asked you why there's no God.
Because there is no evidence to prove such.
Okay, does it logically follow from that God doesn't exist?
With some level of certainty, yes.
No, we're not talking about certain here. That is irrelevant at this point. Now, does it logically follow because you're unconvinced, therefore God doesn't exist?
Well, there's logical inconsistencies with the God concept.
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to keep doing this. Okay, you better bring your A game, okay? Now, you're saying God does not exist as an external reality because you're unconvinced?
And it's too illogical.
Okay, so now you're changing your tune. We're going to go through this step.
I'm unconvinced because it's too illogical, Darth.
Listen to me. Hey, dude, don't crosstalk me. You understand the rules? Now, is it your position God does not exist because there's an absence of you being convinced?
For me, personally, yes.
Okay, that is a non sequitur. Kai Nielsen is a famous atheist philosopher.
Okay.
He wrote a book on philosophy called Reason and Practice. Okay? He said all of the reasons that people advocate for God's existence may fail, but it still could be the case that God exists.
Sure.
Do you agree with atheist